It's been 24 hours. We have our dough that we made, our small doughs, a little tray of 4. I have left a cutting board out here with an 8-ounce ladle and a 6-ounce dough knife on a 16-inch board. It's a full 16 inches to give you the sense of scale here. Now we're going to go ahead and make our dough. Now remember our small doughs that we made and cut and rolled? Well, this is how they are after 24 hours. 1, 2, 3, 4 smalls. And these we're going to turn into 12-inch pizzas, which is the smallest circle in our 16-inch board. Now, this is actually quite simple, and it makes an absolutely great pizza. It is just this easy. Now, we floured our dough, and you'll see why now. I'm going to debag it. I'm going to put my hand in, raising the bag off of the dough, and turn it over so the dough sits in my hand. And I'm going to bring the bag back and around and peel it away. If it's correctly floured, it just comes away. I am now going to dredge that dough ball into flour again, just like before we bagged it. See how much larger it is? The yeast work quite nicely. Now, this people refer to as bench flour. Use as much as you want. You cannot use too much. The dough will take up what it wants and it will leave the rest behind. You actually have very little control over it. So don't worry about using too much. Now, people like the large voids and the wonderful chewy pizza crust roll. This is where it happens. This is why the making of the pug was so important. When you rolled that dough ball and you rolled it tight and evenly, and this is where that becomes very, very important. Any imperfection in the dough ball then will become very pronounced now. You can see we have yeast active here. Now what I'm going to do here is I'm going to start shaping, actually making my pizza. Now watch closely. I push down, and there begins my crust. There begins my crust. See my pizza? Here we go. Now what I'm doing is I'm preserving the yeast action in the crust while I deflate the yeast action in the bottom of my dough. And in essence this way, I can get the characteristics of 2 different types of dough and cooking actions in a single piece of dough. Now look, there's my crust. This is still full of large yeast bubbles, which will cook wonderfully. This, on the other hand, is flattened, and I am flattening it to even it out. Now, I'm going to flour this, and I'm going to turn it over, and watch, because now I'm going to go ahead and enlarge and even the dough. I'm going to make the center part in here much thinner and much more even while expanding and better defining the crust. And this isn't unique hand action, you just have to watch it. As I push, I'm going to push down and expand and stretch. And I'm going to rotate around the dough. And when I come, it'll feel uneven in my hands and unbalanced and oblong, because it is. When I've come all the way around one cycle, then it will feel even in my hands, and I will know that I have completed one cycle and the dough is even. Now, you'll see what I mean. I'm actually stretching my dough. And you know, I only need this to be 12 inches. And you know, the board that I'm working on here, this flat piece of stainless steel, marble works, polished granite works, glass works. Make sure you have a moist towel under it to hold it down. Is 16 inches across here. I only need 12 across my board over here to make a small dough. Remember, I only need 12 to have a pizza. Oh. Unique. Now I just need to cover this with this. Now I haven't thrown this, I haven't hand stretched it, I haven't done anything but flattened it out on the table. It hasn't lifted once. But it's a beautiful pizza at this point. Now it'll just need a little bit of encouragement to lay upon my board and be ready to be dressed. Now I'm going to pick this up by the edge. I'm going to lay it across my hand. And when I do, it's going to drape a bit, and it'll again become oblong. So I'm going to pull at the edge, come around one time, you'll see the rotation, and then lay it upon my board and be ready to dress it. You ready? And what I'm doing is I'm making sure that this hand lines up where this hand was. And this hand moves around. And I'm pulling one against the other and catching the dough on my thumb knuckle. And letting the table carry the weight of the dough. It feels oblong. I can tell that I've come around. And I have now a beautiful 12-inch crust. See, preserving the integrity of the bubbles of the yeast and the large. Not bad, huh? Get ready. Here we go. We take the dough ball and flour it. Okay. Here we go. Press. There you have perfect, beautiful, small dough. Okay. Now, if your dough wants to pull back on you, don't be afraid to pick it right back up. And 1, 2, 3, 4. Come around and give it another series of times. Lay it right back down. If you lay it on a screen, it won't pull back. If you're on a board, it may. Beautiful. Now we're going to go ahead and just take our sauce. It's an 8-ounce ladle. I want about 6 ounces. Put it right in the middle. Give it a quick push. Here, a little bit of cheese. If you please. A bit of basil. My sauce has quite a bit of fresh basil. A bit of cheese. And voila! A pizza.